For those just starting out, to those who built their reputation in the detail industry, navigating the course is a daily grind. This is Play-by-Play with industry professionals tackling topics and offering tips to help improve your game plan. Now, here's your play-by-play.
All right, what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Play-by-Play.
Back once again.
Keep going.
With the lyrical gangs. I don't know. That was the song.
Man, I love that. I love it when you freestyle.
Well, I just got music in my heart. You know what I'm saying?
You are.
Here, it's just,
you got a lot of soul there.
So,
anyways.
I'm a ginger. I think we're soulless.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. Well, that too. So today we got an awesome show lined up for you. We got Justin Day from Detailers of Las Vegas. We're continuing our conversation about services that you can offer along with your detailing business. As things slow down, you start to look at the income stream. You're like, hey, man, could use some extra money, could use some extra, income.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely one of those services that you can learn or you can train up to offer. And, it's a good thing. PPF is what he's going to be talking about.
Yeah, highly sought after, at least as far as Google Analytics.
Chris DiGiovanni ran out a report and said that these guys are getting, that PPF's getting searched a lot more often than ceramic coatings right now. So, keyed us up on this conversation, felt like that was relevant.
Sure.
Now there's a lot of training that goes involved. That's what we're going to be talking to Justin about, the complexity of it. It's not something you just, tomorrow you throw on your website and say, I can do it, and I speak from experience on that.
They make it look so easy on the videos. It just looks like it's cake,
They do. Yeah, just squeegee it. Cut a little bit and you're done. But it's not that, guys. It's not that. It's a little bit harder. I mean, there's a learning curve, right? It's just like anything else. But you didn't just, stick a detail shop sign in the yard and start, being a professional detailer. You had to learn.
That's exactly what you did.
That's exactly what I did, actually. I said our sign should read easy in storage and detail. And they're like, but you don't know how to detail. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll put it on there anyway. We'll figure it out. But, listen, speaking of all the good, we had a great lunch yesterday, didn't we, Ryan?
I was completely surprised when somebody told me we had lunch and it was out in the shop. I walk out there. And when I talk about a spread, literally one side of the shop to the other, just food stacked on food. So delicious.
30 feet of food.
30
feet of table there that was packed. And that was provided by our buddies, Billy and Vandy Smith at Akron Detail, Akron Pro. And listen, those are just, they're family. They're
I was about
friends.
to say, we can't even say that. Yeah, they're friends. They're family.
It's a testament to the relationship that we have with the people who they are. Like, they do things like this all the time.
Right.
Out of
nowhere too. Did you know?
It's impressive to, the love that they have for everybody, and they show it this way, and the support. Listen, a lot of people don't know. So we have a retail store here, and they are purchasing stuff out of our retail store all the time, and they do it to support us.
Right.
And it's just amazing. And of course, they're big time, users of the software, promoters of the software. But just, come down to the boat show every year.
Right.
These are great friends, great family. I can't say enough about them, but it's just amazing. We had that lunch. They catered our lunch in for the whole staff, and it's just, I tell you, it's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It blows you away, and we thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
And you guys don't even know how much that means to us.
It does. It means a lot. So we also got something else going on today.
Yeah, man, we're going to be playing the guessing game again, with our hacker hack. Who knows what it's going to be?
So we're just going to guess away.
We're going to throw it out there and guess what?
I love the way Chris is doing these videos. He's like guiding us to and you can almost you can tell when he knows we're going to go off track a little bit. Yeah. He's like, oh, no. Right. And then he's, you got to stick around to the end.
Stick around to
see it.
Last week's was great. He literally was responding to what we were saying on a pre-recorded video.
He knows how we are.
Yeah, it was too cool, man.
Yeah, and that's cool. But you know what? Before we get to that, before we get Justin down, we want to talk a little bit about something. It's something that's relevant right now, something that we've been getting talked good about in Detail Bookie, and it's our customer service.
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, and listen, and so we've gotten a ton of of like compliments on our customer service lately. And it made me think, okay, you know, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what makes not necessarily just detail booking, but Easy In and our detailing business great is the customer service behind it. And and this is something that will help you down the road through your business adventures, no matter what. If you're customer service focused, then everything else kind of happens around that.
No, absolutely. And they will know with good customer service, even if there is a mess up, you know, they are way more, you know, inclined to forgive if everything leading up to there has been a good experience.
That's
and so it's invaluable. And they're also there for you whenever you need to fill that schedule.
That's right.
You know, and
it's relationships. And, you know, it's cliche to say, well, you just got to have good customer service, but there's a lot that goes into that. And it's got to be genuine. You know, it's got to come from the heart. And you have to take, and I think the best way to have the best customer service is to take money out of the equation.
Yes.
To forget about the dollar and really listen to the customer's problem and solve that. Let the money come around on the back end. Let the money work itself out. You go focus on that person's problem and you solve it. The money will always come. That's true customer
advice.
Service.
Right.
All right. That's customer service 101. That's how you make it genuine. If you take the dollar out of it, don't worry about making the money. The money will come. You solve the problem. You build the relationship. You solve the problem. You listen and you act on it. And you don't forget the details. That's one thing that Ryan always does good on. Christine does is good as well. But remembering the details. Remembering the conversation that you had with that customer last time. Remember their issue. Remember their dog's name. Remember the little things that make you stand out. So that way they feel like it's one-on-one. And it is one-on-one, right?
Yeah. They know it's one-on-one because at any point in time, literally they can reach out and they're going to get, you know, a response, and they know that it's not automated.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's at 8 o'clock at night, I might have had a couple twisted teas, but you know what I'm saying? We still get problem solved.
That's right. And listen, you don't always have to have the answer. This is what people don't understand is, well, I didn't respond because I didn't know what to say right then. People understand you're human. They just want to hear from you. They want to know that you heard them and that you're working on it. Okay. Like you don't have to solve the problem that second. You may not have the answer, you know, but they want to be heard and they want to be recognized and acknowledged. And a little response goes a long way, guys, you know?
Yeah, we were just talking about this earlier today, you know, getting estimates on the software. You get an alert when you get an estimate, you know that somebody's interested or, you know, at least enough that they put their information in, they're shopping. So if they don't book right away, the software has a built-in follow-up campaign, right? So if you are busy and you're not able to reach back out to that customer that day within 24 hours, well, actually in 24 hours from them getting that estimate, they'll get the first a reminder. They'll reach out, hey, you know, this is a so-so detail shop holding on to your estimate. Click the link below to view and schedule. Right. Make it so simple for them, right? But guys, that isn't that's not your best salesman. You're going to be your best salesman.
Absolutely. And
so if somebody gets an estimate and they don't book and you have the bandwidth, if you're not busy, I mean, there's no reason you should not reach out personally.
That is your opportunity to sell, right? That's your hottest lead. And so acting on that it's what you do. Right. And you don't wait. You don't wait around on it. You act on it. You know, you don't want to, like you've mentioned a million times, you don't want to, 5 minutes after the message or a minute after the message comes through, call that person, but you give them some time, give them 5 minutes, give them 30 minutes. Allow them to process, and then give them a call and ask them if they had any questions. Right. It just opens the door.
And I love telling them, with the software, it's a new, when you get on new software, anytime you try something new, you get to use that excuse, like a new job. I'm sorry, I'm new. Year. Exactly. For the first year, milk that. And so, anything, I don't mean to bother you if you feel like you're bothering. I'm just telling you're making sure that
trying out this new notification thing, trying out this new login, whatever. And you can always hide it behind that. That opens the door for conversation. Then you get some feedback. Hey, I loved it. Worked great. Just thinking about it. Or you say, whatever. But those things matter. But customer service is it needs to be on the forefront of your business. You need to be thinking about that. When you have great customer service, you're literally building the foundation for referral business.
Well, word of mouth is by far going to be your best marketing. I mean, there's no matter how. I mean, I'm finding
it's the cheapest.
Yep.
You know, it's the easiest. Like if you have referrals going out, like it doesn't cost you. So when you're paying for marketing, when you're advertising, and all of us have to do it at some level, it's costing you to go buy customers, right? That's customer acquisition. There's a cost associated with it. When you lay the groundwork through good customer service and a good relationship with a customer, and he goes and talks to someone, that just cut that customer acquisition in half, because now you paid to purchase that first customer, but you got 2 out of it. And now watch how that divides out and really exponentially gets smaller the more the people they talk to. So referrals drive the cost of acquisition down exponentially. It goes the right way when you look at reducing cost, all by having great conversations and great customer service.
Right.
And listen, there's going to be shit sandwiches to eat all the time, you know, and I'm going to tell you what a shit sandwich is. A shit sandwich happened to me yesterday.
Okay. Tell us the story.
Had a customer come in and to pick up his boat. We did a detail of ceramic coating top coat on his boat, and loved the detail walking around the outside. Now, start the story a little bit before. Customer comes in and does not have much time. He's taking his lunch break to pick up this boat to take it to storage. We don't know that. He shows up. He's having trouble hooking up the hitch on his boat, something on his end. So that slows it down a little bit. He walks around the outside with our shop manager, looks at the boat, loves it, goes into the inside of the boat to check it, opens the head up, and our guys had taken, instead of putting all the stuff back in his compartments, they put it down in the head of the boat. The head's where
I was about to say, let's
so down in the bottom of the boat. Okay. And we made a mistake. It should have went back to the compartments. It's an internal thing. The guy lost his mind. He lost his mind over this. Now, it's a small thing, but what happened was he was running late. He was already running behind. He really didn't have time to fool us. So, all right, he loses his mind on my shop manager. Shop manager kind of gets offended by it because he's dropping the F-bomb. He's pissed about it, right? Shit Sandwich says, yes, sir. Yes, sir, we'll take care of it.
We apologize.
Trey was trying to defend the shop, trying to say, hey, we'll handle it, but calm the guy down. And really, reality is we shouldn't be calming down. Just let the guy lose it, and we'll work it out. That's all right. So the beat goes on, customer leaves. I call him. I'm like, hey, I'll give him about an hour to calm down, by the way. I didn't just, I didn't 5-minute that guy.
Yeah.
Give him an hour, 60 minutes.
Okay.
And I call him. I'm like, hey, man, let's talk about what happened. And by this point, he's cooled down. He's like, man, look, he said, it's not that big of a deal. I kind of made a mountain out of a molehill. Here's what happened. It's not, I'm okay. And I'm like, well, look, man, I said, we messed up. Let us fix it. It's our problem. Let us fix it, and we should have handled it. But the conversation by calling that guy and just saying, hey, we messed up, solved all the problems.
Yeah,
it's own it. Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back with a smile. He already said he would. Yeah. And so, that's the shit sandwich. Even though, yes, it was a little mistake on our part. The guy lost his mind. We had to sit there and take it. It's the yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir. We'll take care of it. Whatever we're supposed to do, we'll do whatever we need to do. And that's what you have to do. That's how you lay the foundation of solid customer service. And it has to be, everybody in your company has to be bought into that too.
And the customer's always right doesn't mean they're always necessarily right. What it means is, you're in a business, you're here to make money, and their displeasure, if it doesn't get resolved, will absolutely spill over into the community, and everybody's gonna, and they'll get in those groups, and
they're much louder about things like that. So sometimes even if it's, like engine bay, you weren't supposed to detail it, they thought you were, they're tripping out about it. Go ahead and do it. Listen, that customer is not getting it, and maybe they are getting over you on that in that instant, but I promise you it's cheaper to do that engine bay right then than it would be to take the tongue lashing online and just like have to suffer through that, that instance where you're defending yourself.
Or even worse, if it's not online, it's, he goes to the country club and tells all the rest of those guys that, that he had a bad experience there. And now,
Well, I tell you, it's important, guys. That's something to keep in mind while you're in your slow time. I mean, it's something to focus on all the time. But we talk about slow season, we talk about slow time. These are the times to really consider, how do you handle these situations? How do you address them? What's your process? How do you deal with customers, upset customers? Customer service is number one. Somebody that knows a lot about customer service, I'm sure. I want to bring him on the show. Justin Day, let's go ahead and bring him on.
Hey.
What's up, buddy?
I got you. You got your shop manager there with you, I see.
Yeah, the boss.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome, man. How's everything going for you? How's
Good.
the weather?
It's cold today, man. It's like, I think it's a high of 50 something. It's cold.
Oh yeah. It's still in the 80s down here in Mobile. Like we're cooking.
Yeah, it's 47 right now.
Sweet. So just, for the people that may not know who you are, the few and far between, could you mind give us a little brief intro, kind of maybe how you got into detailing business and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. A lot of people know, but for the people that don't, my name is Justin Day. I own Detailers of Las Vegas in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm originally from the East Coast. Grew up in Baltimore, got in a lot of trouble, was locked up from 16 to 19. And towards the end of my stay there, they got me a job in a body shop where I learned to detail and started learning how to cut in edges and, prep panels. And I learned the structure of paint and burn through many cars. So thankfully, I was in a body shop. We just roll it. It was a running joke. I would put a piece of tape on and just put little paint here, please, with an arrow. Push it back. And I mean, they were getting free labor. So it was if I burned through a car sanding, they would just go back. I mean, they'd get pissed if I was right up against the panel, that they didn't blend or something, obviously, and they got to go into that. There was shit like that. But for the most part, I kept my mouth shut, had to just, take all that they gave me. And I wasn't that kid, I was the kid that was,
wanted to bite back.
Rowdy one. Yeah. Always throughout me and my friends. But yeah, I mean, that kind of settled me down a little bit. And then when I came home, I just always did it on the side. And then when I finally moved here to Vegas, 15 years ago, I started a mobile deal and, did mobile for a while and been in a shop for about 4.5 years now. So,
speaking of that mobile to shop transition, we made that a few years ago. And I tell you, that's which we had a shop. We were both mobile and shop. And it's so nice to come off the road and be in your shop, controlled environment. You don't know the pains of detailing until you're out on the road in the elements, rain, heat, whatever, cold, or missing the product, needing something.
Yeah,
something
you forgot a product. You forgot something that you needed. Now
it's I was telling you guys, I went to Havasu yesterday. I drove down there, packed up my van with all my tools, all my stuff, and I get there and we're jammed into this hangar with a truck and a plane and another plane, and he's don't move any of the planes, and I'm I walk in and I'm just you're kidding, right? I'm gonna have, he wasn't there, he's out of town. I'm kind of squeezing in and out of wings and stuff, and the bay door had, the hangar door had to be halfway open. There was dust this thick on all the shelves, and I just called him. I was hey, man, here's the deal, I'll lay this film down, but I am not in my element. I am way out of my element. This place is filthy dirty. It's, there's a 5-mile-an-hour wind. It's blowing dust and stuff. I'm it's going to be protected, but it ain't going to be perfected. I'm telling you that right now.
I like that.
So, he was all right with it, but I hate doing that when I go back and look over my job and see dirt in it and stuff. It really, knowing that that's not the type of work that I typically do. It's kind of tough. So yeah, the struggle, even especially for PPF. I mean, it's just, we try to use some of their water and it was just a mess. So we got to bring all of our everything, start to finish. You know what I mean? And it's just, and it's the same with detailing. I mean, but it's just tedious. You have to remember to bring a knife, another knife, because you're going to lose that first knife. Something you on a hood or a windshield wiper, and you got to bring backups of everything, and it's just it's a lot, man. I don't prefer doing it that way for sure.
Yeah, that's the same way we are. I mean, we came off the road. We still manage a couple of jets and stuff. So we're kind of we do it very, very selective. Yes,
and hard to let things like that go. Like I said, it's got to take them when they come.
It is a hard thing to let go, and a little bit of pride attached to it too. But managing quality, that was one of the major reasons why we came off the road. And when you talk about quality, you really talk about variables and eliminating those. And when you're out on the road, the variables are literally, they're hard. You can't control them. They're everywhere, and there's so many of them. So that's why it's difficult. And I have a ton of respect for the guys that have built big businesses, mobile detailing. I started my own there. I did that, and I've been there. But hats off to the guys that are still continuing to do it every day and grinding through it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember days where I was washing a car and, you know, the landscaper would come by and blow all the weeds out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, you're kidding, right? Like,
yeah. So we would be in the shipyards laying coating, and here come the cranes and dragging this huge boat down, this huge ship down the shipyard, and it's just kicking up dust. Or they're spraying, one, and you got overspray just drifting in the. I mean, it's like, come on, man.
That's brutal.
It is.
I'll keep my shop.
Right. Yeah.
Well, now, so ceramics have been a big thing in the industry for a little while now, and PPF is a little newer than that. How did you get into it? And what kind of what was the initial spark that got you wanting to do that?
Yeah. So when we moved into our old shop, we were really proficient on ceramic coatings. We had been doing them mobily for, a year, but we were using a coating that wasn't that difficult what was kind of difficult to install. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Layer upon layer upon layer. So, it was a struggle out there. So when we got into the shop, it was a lot easier, but we also wanted to be able to offer a range of services, just like, I wanted to come in, with window tinting and PPF and so what ended up happening with the PPF is I was taking it down I couldn't find anybody to come to my shop and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense, right? Because we're sitting there, now that I do PPF, I'd walk in and be like, yeah, no, sorry, not happening. Like, cause you're going to bitch about, dust, and I'm not going to be able to do anything about it because the guy's polishing in front of me. So we would have to take them down. So we would, decon the car, get it all polished, prepped, and then have to drive it like 4 miles down the road to get paint protection on it. Then we'd have to go pick it up, bring it back. So just the liability of all of it was like, man, I don't like all this. Like, my clients don't really like it. I don't like it. And I was just like, we got to figure out how to do this. And this was like we moved into our shop in 2018. And I think in 2019, I had Joshua Tant. Well, we'll move on to that another time, later. But I had a guy come down to my shop and train me in my shop, and the way I recommend people training for PPF is find somebody that'll come to your shop.
Come to you. Yep.
Yeah. Because you want it in your environment, and there's multiple variables to film too, as far as like adhesive and how sticky it is and how slick it is. Some films you don't have to put any slip on top, and you can just grind away. Some of them, if you do that, you'll tear it, and
wow.
Yeah. So it's I never knew the different variables in film, but I mean, when you look at them next to each other and pull them apart and like stick them on a car and peel it off, like you'll feel major differences between different companies.
Sure.
So with that said, the best thing I thought was to have him come to my shop, train me in my shop. It was in February and my old shop didn't have heat. So that's another thing with PPF is like, it's difficult to install in the cold because it's really like rigid and brittle and
sure. And you're trying to bend it around edges and trying to contort it, So these things
some people use a steamer, some people use hot water. I use hot water because you spray hot water on it from like an Insta-Hot tap and literally it pulls right into place. But
makes sense.
And like vinyl wrap too. You try to do vinyl wrap in the cold and it shatters. You'll be pulling it and it'll just snap. And like that happened to me at SEMA time. I was wrapping that Ford GT for the System X booth. Because what a nightmare. I didn't get
it was brutal.
Yeah, I didn't get the rear bumper finished, so I had to finish it at SEMA the morning of, I think it was Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
I brought one piece to stretch around the bumper, and I had already done all the inlays. It was really just the one piece that goes across the top of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Murphy's Law.
Left side into place. People were like stopping and watching me, and they're like, "Oh, is this a wrap company?" I'm like, "No, leave me alone, please. I have to go. I can't be here right now. I have a party to plan for." So, I'm stretching into place and I get over behind the passenger side taillight and I pull it off and I'm like pulling it to stretch it and it just goes pink and snaps.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, well, I don't have another 102-foot piece on me. So we'll just run with it. It's a SEMA car. If anyone that's been to SEMA knows, there's not a lot of cars that look perfect. There's,
right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just is what it is.
Usually they're rushed to get in there, built up.
Yeah, I did that wrap in 6 days, man. Like, and it's totally underestimated it. Like, this car has 1/4 panel. That Ford has 3/4 panels. Like the outside, one on the inside, and the one on the inside outside. So
our newest, that's our newest sign up right there, Joseph. I told him to check out the podcast. He said he's looking into getting the vinyl as well. So that's pretty cool.
So
go ahead.
I think it's safe to say there's a huge learning curve in this, right? So detailer comes in and he's like, man, I want to add this service because that's what we're talking about, right? You're saying, I mean, hearing this story saying you got to learn how to do this.
So, all right, I paid him, I want to say I paid him like $25, I think it was $500 a day plus his flight and room and board. And thankfully his brother-in-law and sister live here, so he was able to stay there, so it saved me some money. But you think about it, I paid $2,500 for the training, paid $500 for the flight, so there's $3,000 just to get the trainer there, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to buy film, and I'm like, I'm thinking about how can I make this monetize? How can I monetize? So I'm like, all right, let me throw out some specials on paint protection film, and I clarified I clarified with Josh. I was like, he's like, we need 3 cars. So we had a Mustang, Corvette C7, and a Mazda Miata. So like 3 totally different front ends, right?
Yep.
And I just sold the jobs for half off. Like I sold the jobs for $1,000 for a full front clip. I'm like, here's the deal. We're going to train on them, but at the end of the day, me and Josh will make sure that it's
going to be perfect. Yeah. It's going to be
maybe not perfect, but
it's going to be right.
It'll be right on par with anyone else's shop here in town.
Absolutely.
So, that was until we started training, and I'm just like, man, this stuff's really, really hard. So we got $3,000 for the training, and then I bought, the regular film. I didn't buy, training film, B-roll or anything like that, because I just because you can buy B-roll film. It's like a mistake, you know what I mean? It's like film that you can use but something's wrong with it, and it's like you'll never know until you peel it, lay it, and you're like, oh, what's that in the film? Oh,
right. You wouldn't want to sell a job using that. This is literally just trying you use this to test, to learn, train.
Train. So, I mean, looking back on it now, I probably should have just went with the B-roll. Bought a couple 60-inch rolls of B-roll. But I went with the regular stuff. So we got 1,000, I think it was like 1,080 per 60-inch roll. I got 2 60-inch rolls and a 30-inch roll. So it was like 1,080, 20, so it was literally about $3,500 in film, because the 30-inch roll is 100 feet long rather than 50 feet. So it's
holy crap.
This stuff's expensive as it comes, you know what I mean? As it is.
Yeah.
You thought a bottle of ceramic coating was expensive? Like, a roll of film is incredible, and they're going up. They're going up. Like so at any rate, I had Josh come down. We trained on 3 different cars, monetized them. Minorly as
trying to recoup. Yeah,
film. But when he left, I was like, wait. Where do we start again?
Dude, that's always.
You know what I mean? It's like by the 5th day, we're like, yeah, we're good. We got this. Like, all right, Josh, watch this. I'm gonna lay this fender by myself. And then he leaves, and we get to we take on a car, and it's like,
you're like, what is PPF again?
Yeah. So
that's
that was difficult, and I'll talk about this really quickly because I don't want to get on anything negative, but I had bought a plotter for $7,500, a very high name plotter. I'm not going to discuss the name, but it's a very high name plotter. This thing would not cut properly. Like, oh my gosh. So the C7s have that little flare on the side, that on the fender, the black flare.
Yes.
So the last thing, like this thing just wasted so much film. It would feed out film, feed it back, cut it, then draw through the line and and it would like bring cuts to like this. So it wouldn't connect them all the way. It would be like this. And I'm like, well, where do I trim? Like, do I trim this half or this half? I would always have to guess to try to. So I ended up losing my mind one day, like after it wasted like a couple $100 in film. Called the company. It was like, come pick this up, or I'm going to bring it to your doorstep and set it on fire. Like, I'm losing right now. They had come out 3 different times and tried to, calibrate it. And, the first 2 times they're using my film. So like, as it's feeding my film and cutting and messing up, like, I'm like, yo, finally we need to use you guys need to bring film over and use your stuff.
Absolutely.
So after wasting like a whole roll of film on this stupid plotter, I ended up sending it back. Well,
Mhm.
now I got this dope little Saga plotter. I mean, it's not little, it's like 72 inches long. Here, I'll show you right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's your
And
baby.
This guy was $2,500
No kidding.
and literally cuts perfect every time unless I mess up.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
if I
awesome.
film in wrong or I weed things or I, line nest everything wrong, but it's the only time this thing messes up. And I've cut like 50 pieces at a time, like the whole front end of a Corvette and, splashes everything. And this thing just works.
And that's the thing, laying it out, right? So you got to lay out how your cuts on the PPF, so you're getting the most use out of it. That's part of the process, right?
Yeah. So that's the idea with the program that I use. Like as you nest everything together, it'll tell you exactly how much square footage you've used, but it'll also tell you the percentage of efficiency that you've made. So,
nice.
If you take a piece of 60-inch film and you just put one fender on there, it's going to say like 30. It's going to say 30% efficiency. But if you pack on the mirror, my thing is
the little pieces. Yeah.
You know what I do a lot, and you guys touched on this earlier. We do a front end, and it's nothing to throw these A-pillars on the plot. Nothing, and it takes all of 30 seconds to install each one. And the client, you can either sell them for $150, or if you're trying to give your client,
if you're building a customer,
exactly.
Go ahead and throw it in there. Yeah,
Man,
you got a customer for life.
I did your windshield surround just to add that. Man,
absolutely.
Really? Thank you so much. That's so cool. Or like a lot of people like the deck lid splat, the rear bumper. Like if somebody has kids or something like that, like that's one thing that I'll do. It's a piece of scrap film that I pull out, and I just throw it on the plotter. It cuts out that little luggage. And
little things like that go so far, like the little things that you're, first of all, you're using up some product that you probably wouldn't have used otherwise, or it had been scrap. And now you're gaining the trust from that customer. You're building that relationship that will go on for years. You do little things like that all along the way. And I tell you, it has a huge impact.
We had one of our viewers asked a question, like David FlexShield wanted to know what clear brands do you use?
So I use I have some Flex Shield.
Okay.
I honestly,
that's a coincidence. That's his last name, but
yeah. Well, I got a roll of that last week. I was in a kind of a bind, and he got it to me overnight, so I was really thankful about that.
That's awesome.
Cool. But I really, really, I gotta say, my favorite film that I've used is Legend. Like, it's super strong. It lays down very, very easily. The tack is like simple, but you know what? I was, to be fair, I was working on that front end of the Ford F-150 yesterday in Havasu using Flex Shield, and I was getting super frustrated because it would not stick. I'm like, this shit will not stick. It won't stick. What is going on? I'm gonna pull my hair out. And I don't know if you know those hoods, but those hoods are gnarly. They have
they are.
And then the front comes down to like that little lip that goes the whole way. So to pull all those fingers out, you have to be able to get the stuff to tack and stick, right? Otherwise, it just keeps pulling back and fingering.
Right.
I'm just like losing my mind, and I'm like, all right, okay, this isn't the normal film you use, so like let's start adjusting things, right? Like let's start from the basis. Let's redo our slip, right? So I dumped all my slip out, started fresh, put a minimal amount of soap in there, and tried that. That started to do better. So as it turns out, some films like more soap, some films like less soap, some films like more alcohol in your tack, less alcohol in your tack. It's just
really figuring those things out that would make it.
So that was like a learning curve in an airplane hangar yesterday. It was
on the fly,
literally like on the fly, and it was just like we made it work. Everything came out nice, but the hood took me about, I don't know, probably about 2 hours, and I'm like, we drove out there yesterday morning. I'm supposed to knock out a front end on a truck, some wingtips, the nose of a plane. Right. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, all these parts are like custom parts on the plane. Like I didn't plot any, you can't plot out for a plane, just lay it on there.
Right.
So yeah, it was kind of frustrating, but I got it all worked out, and yeah, I mean, the film looked
So-
great when I was done.
So we're talking about detailers maybe adding the service on. What would be is to help them think about the customer? What would the customer want PPF instead of or in lieu of ceramic or a combination of the two? Like help a detailer understand how to not necessarily how to sell it, but what's the
What's the
what's the
value?
customer looking for if they're going for PPF over ceramic?
Yeah, so a lot of detailers will try to sell customers on ceramic coatings on the basis that they are scratch resistant or
Yeah.
impact resistant. And we've learned over the years that that's just not the case.
Right.
You know, anyways, I was going to go on a lighter deal, but yeah, we've seen
Yep.
that these coatings are not bulletproof. They're,
Mhm.
the coating we use is self-healing, CS2. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any experience with it, but you can watch it heal just like PPF. It's
Wow.
but it's also a $1,600 coating for a coupe, you know?
Sure.
And it's like, that's just the coating. Like that doesn't include any of the prep. So,
Wow.
but yeah, so at any rate, you know, for me, I was one of those people. Yeah, it's scratch resistance adds 9H hardness to your paint and this and that. And realizing that, like, I had a client that I ceramic coated his Porsche, and after that, he came back to me and he's like, "Dude, what are all these chips on my bumper?" I'm like, "Rock chips." He's like, "Bro, I've driven my car back and forth to Oregon 30 times before this, and then you put the ceramic coating on, and now it's chipping." And I'm like,
Yep.
"This is not my issue. This is a you issue, not a me issue." Like, I don't know what he's like. Well, you need to take it off. I'm like, I'm not taking it off. Like it'll come off eventually. You know what I mean? So
Right.
at any rate, I like to sell things for what they're actually worth, right? So I can take a piece of paint protection film and hand it to a customer, and they can pull it and look at it, and they can take a pen and, you know, I'll hold it and I'll say, try to stick this pen through, you know, and they're like, wow, this is crazy, you know, and I can go back and show them a Porsche side that's littered with rock chips. And as we pulled the film off, there was nothing. You know, he spun his GT3 off the track, and you know how they got all the rubble on this, you know, all the gravel on
just
the side.
kicks up.
Oh, dude, it just the whole entire side of the car. But we had done the whole car, so we just peeled the rocker, peeled the door, peeled the fender, and it was like, no way.
Yeah,
I watched a video
that's
where
a great selling point.
lady was literally like just taking a knife to a vehicle, you know, like some really high end vehicles, and then showing how, you know, after when it was done, that there was nothing, no damage.
I mean, it's amazing. Like it just heals itself out. You know, I just got a thought that I want to share to the guys that are learning how to do PPF. You can't be too hard on yourself at first. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm in the process of learning something new, and my instructor's always like, "Hey man, like you gotta relax. You gotta not be so hard on yourself." I have, you know, 1,700 hours. You have 30. You know.
We're talking about the flight. Are you becoming a pilot? You just kind of.
I don't want to get too off topic, but yeah.
Oh, no.
But you know, a lot of the stuff with this film will heal itself out, right? So if you lay a piece of film and it kind of looks like cloudy or kind of weird, you know, you just let it sit overnight, and then you come back the next day, and most of the time that stuff's all gassed out, and you're like, oh wow, I can't tell you how many times I pulled film just for like one piece of dirt or something, you know, or like one bubble, and I had to go all the way. But you know, this film nowadays is so reusable. You can literally lay it, lift it, lay it, lift it, lay it, lift it, lay it, lift it. The only thing you have to worry about is getting dirt under it. So as long as you keep it nice and soaking wet, it doesn't give the dirt a chance to stick to anything. So, that piece of film on that hood yesterday, I was like, oh my God, I cannot waste this piece of film. I cannot waste this piece of film. But I ended up just, you know, I think I lifted it and laid it probably 8 or 9 times before I finally got it.
So, you know, you're learning this, you learn some in training, but experience, just like everything else, experience is where the value's at. Like that's where you're really going to gain it. And you just got to start somewhere, you know? So you pay for the training, you get the training, of course, you know, but then you got to go to work. And you got to start trying things and really challenging yourself. But like you said, not be so hard that you're going to make an impossible job. You know, you got to give yourself some room, and, you know, and you don't have to be the most expensive guy on the block to start out with. You know, you can bring in those customers, like you said, like, hey, we're training on this vehicle, we're charging you half price. you know, it may not be 100%. It's going to be acceptable, but you know what? Let me give you this. Let me give you a deal on this, and let me learn. People will pay, you know, to get a little bit. Like I mean, when I started years ago, like we did that. You know, you just, hey, I didn't know how to do something. Listen, I'll cover the cost of materials and a little bit later. I'll try it. You know, and you either learn if you're going to do it, or you learn if you're never going to do it again.
Right, no kidding.
You know?
Yeah. Now with PPF, what would you say is the average longevity of it? I mean, I know it's durable, but
well, I mean, they claim that, you know, there's 7-year warranty stuff, 10-year warranty stuff, 12-year warranty stuff, and I mean, I started using Legend in 2019, and I mean, all the cars that we've done are still going strong.
So it's similar to a ceramic, or in a sense that it's going to have like the quality of the product is going to determine kind of the lifespan of it. I mean,
quality of the product, and obviously, you know, how the owner takes care of it.
How they maintain,
okay, so maintenance and application still play a pretty big role in how it holds up, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I would assume that's with everything. That's why, you know, why we all say, hey, we'll ceramic coat your car, but we need to see it once a year, so that we, you know, you're not going to come to me at the end of 4.5 years and say, oh, my 5-year coating's failing and I haven't seen you in 4 years. Like, you know, we need to make sure that you're maintaining this properly, and it's on our website. It's really easy to follow. Like,
actually, you know, it's funny. Like we learn these things over time, and I'll never forget. Like we were sold kind of a bill of goods early days ceramic. They were claiming, and the reason this was because they wanted to charge you high dollar for these coatings, so they needed you to charge the customer. So they were giving all these claims of, you know, these long years, and just do the coat, you know, put the coating on there, let the customer go, you'll see them in 5 years, you know, and they set us up for failure big time. Like we, you know, and it got like, I mean, I had to fight through that years ago of you know, these claims that we were claiming because we were told to claim this, and then all of a sudden people were coming back at us. So we learned real quick, you know, maintenance programs that we heavily incentivize. We heavily incentivize a monthly and a quarterly maintenance by offering a discount or a deal on this thing if you'll get it maintained here, but absolutely annually. Yeah.
Yeah. So I tell them that's part of my sales pitch is, you know, we require you to bring it in 30 days, give or take, of your anniversary, you know, and we just do an exterior detail, wash it, decon it. If it needs an updater, we'll put a booster on it, but it shouldn't need an updater. And if it does, you're doing something wrong. You know,
that's right.
We'll get to the bottom of it and figure it out.
Now, are you setting that up as a reoccurring job in your software?
So no, not yet. Basically, it'll send them a reminder within of their anniversary, and it's just like, hey, like, you know, to keep your warranty active, please contact Detailers Las Vegas to set up an exterior, you know, coating inspection.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the plane. What other vehicles? What other kind of vehicles are you laying PPF on? I mean,
like side by sides are big. You know, people want the rock protection on the side by sides and stuff. Motorcycles, I did a full carbon BMW S1000RR. I did a full carbon Kawasaki H2.
Wow.
What's the most I think original, or what would you say the one
unique?
Unique.
Man, it's hard to say. I mean, I work on some pretty cool stuff nowadays. Like the planes obviously are my most impressive, like just because I love to fly, and the guy took me flying in the actual plane that I wrapped, and it was just insane, like insane. And so I love the planes. But let's see, other than that, I guess that Ford GT was probably pretty interesting. I mean, I got
nothing outside of a vehicle type though. I mean, nothing like weird. Yeah, I mean, you know, with ceramic now you can do your countertops, you can do your, you know, mirrors and stuff, and your shoes or whatever. You know,
really, no, nothing crazy just yet. But I mean, give me time, man. Trust me.
Right on.
I'll figure it out.
There's a company I saw, and actually I know this guy out of South Florida. I think he was around the Orlando area. And they're coming out with a product for boats, and it's a PPF for boats. And I'm really in tune with what he's got coming. because if it solves the problem like he thinks it is, because from water level down, ceramics are only going to last so long. The abrasion of, especially in salt water, it just it doesn't hold up. And so if they can solve a problem with PPF and it holds up and it doesn't peel and it'll bond to the gel coat as it should, and it could be a game changer for us in the marine industry. We're in both, but we're known in the marine industry heavily. It would definitely solve some problems for us.
And you can get like a tinted version of it. I mean, I know he was talking about the clear, but are there different versions of it? Because I know you love polishing pontoons. I know that's one of your favorite things to do, but could there possibly be an application where we're now, using that on pontoons and not having to polish?
Sure. Sounds good to me, man. I mean, I don't really do a lot of boats. We did one last week. And they're really rewarding, man. Like when they're all done, especially the older ones, when you get them all polished out from the oxidization and stuff, they're just like, wow, that's a pretty nice looking boat now, and
they are, and you can kind of go hard on a boat. Gel coat's thick, man. You can grind on them a little bit, and it allows you to really stretch it out and go.
You just don't want to jump from the boat to an RV, right?
Yeah, I watched the Bakers down in Florida, man, and they do pretty good too. Are you guys near them in Jackson? They're in Jacksonville, I think.
We're not near them, but I know who they are.
Yeah, sure. So they slay some boats, man. I love those guys. They do really good work.
So, now that we've kind of sold everybody on PPF, I feel like it's a good service to offer. You mentioned the guy that trains you. I mean, would you recommend him? I mean, is there any other recommendations on trainings for PPF detailers listening that's like, heck yeah, I'm in, I want to go?
Yeah, sure. Well, we offer trainings here, obviously.
Oh, sweet.
And, we're actually getting one together for February right now. It's only going to be like 2 or 3 guys. I'm trying to keep it really minimal, as much hands-on as possible. I've been to trainings where there was 45. Actually, I've hosted a training where there was 45 people and one, literally get their hands on it for 5 minutes. Doop, 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 doop.
Yeah. Can't do it.
Am I doing this right? Like, you go to wipe it off and they wipe it. Okay, good. No, go. What are you doing? That's the thing. Like, I don't want anyone to leave thinking like, man, I didn't really get what I paid for. Like I didn't, experience all that I should have. But I tell you what, my trainers in PPF were Josh Tan, the King of Clear Bra. He owns Rap Culture in San Jose, like the Bay Area, somewhere in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And then Mike Noring, obviously, I don't know if you guys know him, but he's an awesome trainer as far as PPF and marketing and, business as a whole, and like coming up with new tools and new strategies to, sell different jobs. Obviously those new Corvette C8s, if you're going to do, there's a huge difference in PPF if you're going to do just the painted portion or you're going to do the painted and all the piano black on the bumper. The piano black is 13 pieces.
Holy shit. That's
so
incredible.
It's like, and they're tiny. Some of them are small. Some of them are just tiny little square. You spray a piece of alcohol, spritz alcohol,
slap it on there and
slap it on. But it's the lining everything up and having everything, the right amount from the edge.
Reveal.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like he's put together a package, for that. He's like, if C8 Corvettes come in, this is what you want to offer, and it's like, wow. I was doing them for like $2,100, but really you need it. I mean, that's like a $2,800 or $2,900 job, if not more,
So he's there coaching you on price, and he's there helping you understand.
He's like I said, he's also a huge like PPF installer. Like he does. So what his thing is called Auto Film Mastery course. So he's out of Houston, but they are always uploading new videos on how to install new cars, the harder hoods, the harder bumpers, that kind of stuff. So Mike Noring, definitely. Ron Harris is a great PPF trainer. So, I mean, there's a few.
There's quite a few out there, these guys that are looking to get it, man. And like you said, bringing them into your shop in your setting with your tools, obviously I'm sure they're going to bring some of their own stuff, but it's relative, right? You're not going somewhere, getting trained on some other, in a shop, in somebody else's shop. And if that's what it's down to, and that's just what you got to do, that's what you do. But it's nice to be able to bring them in and work in your environment.
Exactly. That way, where everything is, and Josh gave me a list, a laundry list of stuff
Here's
to
what you
have
need to
ready.
have.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and I think I spent like $400 just on tools.
I'm sure.
One squeegee could be $35. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And it's just like, if that's what he says I need, like, that's what
But
I'll
you
try.
gotta take it serious, man. This is your business, and you're getting into this new thing. Don't half-ass that part.
Take it
Bring 'em
serious,
in.
but again, don't get too frustrated. Don't be too hard on yourself. Like it's not easy. I couldn't tin a window to save my freaking life. So I don't. That's one thing that I don't offer. Like that's pretty much the only thing that we don't offer. We'll do powder coating, wheel repair, paintless dent repair.
Oh wow,
nice.
Yeah.
Stereo installation. We'll do all kinds of stuff, but window tinting is just not one.
Not your thing.
No,
I'm gonna reach out, give you a call because we've been talking about putting together a quarterly newsletter. We speak to so many detailers, so many different levels of where they're at in their business and their skill set. And one thing that a lot of these guys are hungry for education and for trainings, but not necessarily they don't know where to go to get them. And so what we want to do is put together kind of a comprehensive list and have it, so if you live on the West Coast, you know what I mean? We got something
closest available trainer, closest available mentor, or something like that.
Right. And we try to vet it out. We don't want to just, we're not pushing product, we're pushing real training. And I think that that's important. I go to a ton of trainings. We speak at a lot of them, but we want to make sure that it's not just a product push, that it's an actual training where you can learn something and take something away from there.
Yeah. And while saying that, it's also, you want to go, if you're going to train at a place, you want to make sure that it's a place that is actively doing that service, right?
Yes.
That is selling that service well, and like, I'm sure you guys will agree. Facebook, Instagram, it's all easy to make your business.
Make it look like you're doing
it. You can make it look great, but when it comes down to it, if you have to have that whole entire from customer, acquisition all the way to closing in order to keep those PPF jobs coming in. And it's apparent when you go to a shop and it's not like that. You know what I mean? It's very clear. It's like, wait a minute, why is there only one car here for people?
Yep.
It's like, but in my place, in all fairness, I'm the only person that installs film. So I'm teaching my people, but at the same time, like I can leave them to polish a car, to ceramic coat a car, to detail a car, but it's just, that's my thing. I guess I do it, so it's that just like detailing, it's very difficult to replicate yourself and retain an employee unless you take very good care of them.
Absolutely. So look, before we jump off here, you brushed on it just a little bit, the pilot's license. I can connect with you on that a little bit. I actually did all of my online courses and passed them and all, and had still have some solos to do and stuff. But how close are you to getting your license? Where are you at in the process?
I'm at 30 hours right now. So you have to have a minimum of 40, which I don't think I'm going to get it at 40. I'm going to, in the process, there's, all these different requirements that you have to do. As I got my solo out of the way, and all this has started in August. So just this is, I am a highly motivated person when I get my mind set on something. I don't really care what it costs. I'll eat ramen noodles. Like if
how long will it take you to train for an Ironman?
I don't know, dude. I'm like now getting back into shape. It's like I don't even know. But you know what? It would be cool to do something like that someday.
He just got his first.
He says that because what you were saying, you're highly motivated. You make a decision, you just go after it. That's exactly what I did with the Ironman. Like I just, like put it on the wall, said we're gonna do it, and did it.
And a couple months later, it's literally happened.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, like, my mom always says this life is not a dress rehearsal. Like, we don't get to come back and say, oh, wait, we wish we would have done it this way. At the end of our life, we're going to regret what we didn't do, not what we did do.
Love it.
So,
love it, man.
I just, man, sky's the limit. I mean, I'll be totally honest for everybody out there. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this detailing thing for. Probably a good another 2-3, maybe more. But, eventually, like, my end game is this fly, man. I just want
sights out there, man. I love it, dude. I love it. Well, we're here to support that. We're down for the jet ride whenever you want to come pick us up, man. We'll cruise with you.
Hopefully it'll be a stunt plane, man. I'll get you guys upside down and inverted.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Cool.
Man, look, awesome talking to you, brother. Appreciate you taking
Thanks so
time out of
much.
your day to come on and talk to us about this. I know there's a lot of detailers out there that had questions. Hopefully we got them answered. If not, we got them a list of trainers and stuff that are available. Of course, you yourself, you got some stuff coming up. So appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a blast talking.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Man, that's cool.
Man,
That's
that's
cool.
awesome.
He made it sound so easy, yet, but yeah, you can tell. Like there's a learning curve.
Definitely a learning curve. I did not realize that you could basically pull it off and put it back on. Like, as long as there's nothing in between it, if you're not getting dust, that it is.
Yeah, because you think the typical sticker, like
Yes.
it lose tack,
Yes,
right? You
right.
pull a sticker off. But I know this because Demi puts stickers on me all the time.
Does she?
Yeah, she's a sticker queen.
She loves stickers, huh?
And I found out your love for
I
stickers.
mean, I like a good sticker, dude. I was flipping through the IGL calendar, and the very last page, I was like, I got excited. It's a whole bunch of different kinds of stickers.
IGL really knocked it out of the park with this calendar they sent over to us. They sent me a bunch of stuff. It was really cool, but in this box was a calendar, and I have this huge calendar in my office, so I didn't really need a desk calendar. So I dropped it off in Ryan's office, give him a little nice surprise. And he comes in this morning talking about how great the stickers were in the back of it. And I was like, I had a flashback of Demi, fascinated by stickers.
Well, and I just thought how cool that would be. We need to get some of those.
You loved it.
I loved it, man.
It's good. It's good. I loved it too. I loved your love for it.
You love.
I loved for you.
Well, I
Yeah.
love the fact you love my love for it.
I
so that's
appreciate you,
awesome.
right?
I appreciate it being appreciated, man. So that's great.
All right, there's got to be something else we can do here.
Something we can do, and I know he's ready for it. But before we do that, hold on one second. We're gonna just a second. Okay, ready? Ethan, one time. All right, now. All right.
That's correct. Or heck.
Brandon did a backflip.
Sorry, I just saw him over there. Like,
He was ready.
he was ready.
All right, what we got?
Oh, we got Chris
We're
doing.
sleeping on the job, watching play-by-play.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, he's daydreaming,
dreaming, isn't
he? Oh, who we got coming up the steps?
Oh,
Coming up
man.
the steps. By the way, this is the back of our shop here, and this looks like one of our detailers checking on Chris. That looks about right.
Okay. What's
All
going
right,
on?
so he's sneaking in. Oh, taking his shoes
His socks
off.
off.
Not his socks. What?
Oh man.
What? Why are we still in socks? No, we're not.
What is?
What is
Okay,
that?
that's
Is that a cup? Was that a cup?
a cup with the sock on it, dude.
No way. You
Look at
put a
that.
sock over a cup. Get out of here. This is a true hack. So you take the cup because it's
Yeah.
the same shape of the cup holder.
Well, it actually, forms to the cup.
Oh, yeah.
See, and now I got something.
yeah.
I got something new to try
Yes.
with socks.
What if the socks thing? Oh, he said it didn't work.
Ah, he's not a fan.
He's not. It was a bad dream, Chris. It was a bad dream.
Holy
These
cow!
are freaking awesome, man. I love it. But look, he's still watching play-by-play. Or is he
Oh,
editing it?
Yeah, it looked like that. He had Mike on that time, so maybe
He
that was
did.
the same episode.
Look, so all
Dude,
right.
that's
So
cool.
do we know? Is it confirmed? Can I get a thumbs up?
Sock
thumbs down?
over cup
Sock
to
over cup.
clean cup holders, and
Okay, sock over cup to clean the cup holders. We can definitively say, or no?
I mean, I don't think it's. I don't think it worked, but I think that's.
Here's what we do.
all right.
We got to run it through the process.
All right,
here.
go ahead.
We got to run it through. If you're in the middle of the woods, all you have is your socks.
Yes, tube socks preferably.
Tube socks, a solo cup,
Gotta have solo.
a dirty cup holder,
Okay.
your car,
Yes. Interior spray.
into some interior
Yeah.
spray, some kind of cleaner.
Mhm.
Yeah. You could spray that spray into the cup holder, possibly put the tube sock over the cup, clean the cup holder. This hack is possible. It's
It's very imaginative. I want to know
probable.
where that came from.
I do too. I do too. I
Do we
love
have
it.
an answer for that, Chris? Is that something? You
So
just
everybody
came up
watching,
with?
you can see we're struggling with hacks.
No, I mean, I think
No.
there could be a better idea. I just want to know who's the genius behind these
No.
ideas.
That was awesome. So yes, I think it's plausible. We'll call
Plausible.
this we'll call this hack plausible. You
Yeah.
can possibly clean it and it may come out of there. Okay, guys, got a next show next week. We are going to be talking about goals. I
That's
mean, we're
right.
ending the year, right? We want to talk about things going into next year. So we talk about goal setting. We want to talk about what we're going to do. We're talking about what you should.
Guys, y'all make sure to check us out everywhere you can find podcasts. We're on YouTube, Facebook, detailboogie.com, Spotify, Apple. Well, that's all everywhere podcast. But
Everywhere you listen to your podcast,
yeah,
we're
okay.
there, man.
you can Anchor, I think, is another one that
Okay.
we've done.
Uh,
I'm running out of steam
Okay.
here.
See you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.